Hey everyone, welcome back to the Xfinity Hearthstone event here. We're getting ready for our semifinals between RDU and Dog and Trump versus Show. This one should be really fun. I hope you guys had a really good break, as I know the stream's on delay, so I think they're finishing up Tides versus Show. Really fun series overall, and I think we're going to see more of that. I think the storyline behind the players are really cool. I like how RDU is coming back from his slump and really starting to pick it up again. Dog is on the verge of potentially winning his first well-known online event. And then we have Trump, who is in the top 4, but who's really rarely ever made a push for a championship. And of course, Show, he's in the same boat as Dog, his CompLexity teammate. Has he ever truly taken a tournament?
Yeah, I feel
I don't
like
think so.
this is the story of 4 very solid players, and actually 4 very underrated players right now, just taking their chance at the title. RDU, as you said, he hasn't been doing so well lately. Dog, Show, and Trumpet are all players that you typically reach the round of 8 or 4 in pretty much every tournament, but they just don't make it all the way. And we're definitely, if RDU doesn't win, we're definitely going to have a new tournament winner to crown today.
It'll be fun, and I know a lot of people are going to be rooting for some of their favorite streamers. RDU comes in as like an established player. He's not necessarily a popular streamer. And then Dog and Show, they have their own rabid fan base. And of course, Trump. I mean, if Trump wins, I think the internet will explode a little bit.
Yeah, it'll implode into Trump, perhaps.
Yeah. Possibly. I mean, all the Trump subs will finally be vindicated.
Yeah, all the Trump subs will be let go.
That's right.
Into the chat. Let it go. And
release the subs. Unleash the subs. That's what's going to be. RDU and Dog are going to start off with Mage versus Mage. They have the same exact lineup, I believe, although RDU is playing Tempo Mage.
Yeah, Tempo Mage, as he calls it, his own mid-range mage. Now, I actually have a correction from before when we were casting RDU. I said he's getting legend or high ranks in legend with Hunter. He actually messaged me between the breaks to correct me on that. He's only got a high rank with Hunter about 3 seasons ago, but now he's just playing whatever is OP. Last season it was a rogue deck, but this season he has been really practicing his mid-range mage, or the Tempo Mage.
So this mage is what he's been laddering with.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, guys. If you're curious as to what's to ladder next with, just mage deck might be it. And of course, maybe it's not exactly card for card. Maybe it is. Maybe the fact that he has Kazan Mystic is trying to destroy the hunters that are on ladder or fellow mages who might be playing Mirror Entity. And Kazan Mystic hasn't been too impactful, but it only has to happen once or twice for it to be like super meaningful to win you a game and possibly the tournament.
Yeah. We see RDU has been practicing with his Tempo mid-range mage, and that might be why Lothar had brought it as well. We usually see Life Coach as the deck innovator in that team, bringing the Handlock, which his teammates have adopted, bringing the Druid, which with Nourish and Ragnaros, which his teammates have also adopted. So it's nice to see RDU bringing some nice deck decisions into that as well.
All right, Mech Mage versus the Tempo Mage. Who's going to come out on top? And Dog's going to start off, well, hand's a little awkward. Globin Blast Mage is excellent. And Annoyatron, it's something to do, guaranteed. Although I think he'd prefer to have Snow Chugger or Mech Warper, something else better to do.
Yep.
Oh! Antonitis is a whiff. That gives an opportunity for RDU to push out the Sorcerer's Apprentice or Mad Scientist. Sorcerer's Apprentice gives you the availability of playing Flame Cannon and Unstable Portal.
Yeah, well, this is a Tempo Mage, of course, and you're not going to get any more value or tempo off of Sorcerer's Apprentice than when you coin it out on turn 1.
Now Dog does have Mech Warper coming to hand. That gives him a turn 3 play with Mech Warper and Annoyatron.
But yeah, this does seem that it just get traded into easily from the Sorcerer's Apprentice. We actually can see from RDU's hand, though, that RDU has a much better play with the Flame Cannon plus Unstable Portal.
Yeah, that tempo gain could be game-breaking, especially if that Unstable Portal gets something significantly big, some kind of large taunt minion or
Temple Enforcer.
Or Temple Enforcer, yeah. Can you imagine? Because it gives you not only the mana to play with that turn, say it's 4 or less mana, but it also, if it's 6 or less mana, it could be played on turn 3 to follow it up.
Oh, wow.
So he pings so that way the Neutron challenges the Sorcerer's Apprentice next turn.
Yeah, so he's just planning out his next few turns. Almost certainly he's going to be playing Mech Warper into the Neutron. That gives RDU one more turn to develop the Mad Scientist though, and he's perfectly happy with Mech Mage essentially skipping a turn.
No secret out yet. Now this has all of a sudden gotten a little uncomfortable for Dog.
Yeah, especially because if the Mech Warper and the Neutron come onto the field, then Flame Cannon will actually be really awkward. It'll be hard for him to use it for 1 mana because the Sorcerer's Apprentice, it should trade into the shield of the Neutron or just the Neutron body. Maybe RD will be forced to ping the Neutron even.
Alright, no chance there.
Oh, Kazan Mystic.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good one. So RDU does indeed go for the value.
Yep. Flame Cannon. No chance for this Mech Mage really to start bouncing back, at least with that Goblin Blast Mage. Normally you want to have something really cheap on the board and Goblin Blast Mage to spray it out. If it doesn't kill off the board, you trade something in too.
Yeah. I like the sequence of plays from RDU because you're going for value here. So, and you know your opponent, if he decides to ping the Sorcerer's Apprentice, he will actually be going for value as well. So you're both kind of fighting on the same terms. That being said, I feel like RDU's hand is slightly better if they're fighting with that respect.
Yeah, that's why I like the play too, for almost the same exact reasons. And now Unstable Portal can finally have potential game breaking.
Oh.
Wow, Pilot Sky Golem.
That's pretty much, that might be even like one of the best ones he could have gotten.
Would you want to play that now? I mean, it is also really nice to develop the Kieran Tormage and Mirror Entity
That's true.
for free. Like, that's even equivalent to the Pilot Sky Golem in terms of the mana gained.
Yeah,
from what you
exactly.
get.
They're both pretty much 6 mana, essentially. Oh, well, I guess that makes your decision much easier for
I
you.
suppose you're just playing Pilot Sky Golem. Dog, of course, leans back, trying to hold back the frustration.
Now, it's actually, I find that the person who has Lore Walker Cho is usually at a disadvantage because he doesn't have the option to kill his own Lore Walker Cho, whereas his opponent, if he wants to use a spell, he can just devote 4 damage into it. So I actually don't see RDU clearing this Lore Walker Cho anytime soon.
Not when he can just play the strongest minion onto the field.
Yeah, or he can just steal the secret.
Yeah, with Kazan Mystic.
What actually happens if you get the same secret and you try to steal it? Does the secret just go away? I'm actually haven't encountered that before.
That's a really good question. I don't know if we'll even get a chance to answer it, 'cause it looks like he's just dead.
Yeah, we might not even be able to.
Unless the Goblin Blast Mage can hit. Actually, it should be okay. Yeah.
Ouch.
What? Oh, GG.
Yeah, that's what happens when
Right.
when you Goblin Blast Mage
The
a
Mad Scientist. Yeah, he copying that 5-4. It's like now there's no chance for him to survive. The Fireball will be game. And Blowwalker Joe won't do anything. The only chance is if that Mad Scientist is able to summon out Counterspell.
Yeah, typically we haven't seen the Tempo Mage doing very well,
Wow.
but this is what happens when all the pieces fall in place. Yeah, giving his opponent a Fireball. He got the Sorcerer's Apprentice out and was able to combo it with so many spells. Then he was able to even get a really good Unstable Portal. So just a lot of good RNG going well for RDU and
Yeah.
just drawing his combo pieces. It's kind of like Control Priest in that way.
Some way, somehow, RDU's figured out to make Tempo Mage work, and it's a combination of Dog drawing really poorly, and of course, really good decisions from RDU in the beginning stages of the game to make sure that he got the proper trades. Now that Mage is out of the way, I think he can just focus on making sure that Druid takes a solid game off of that Hunter, and then maybe the Hunter takes a solid game off of the Mage. And if RDU can focus on lining that up correctly, then yeah. And of course, if Dog senses that, he just queues up Druid next. Then, because Druid probably has the most vanilla matchups across the board, he's got that against Hunter and that against Druid. Then, RDU queues up Druid as well. So I'm predicting a Druid versus Druid here.
Yeah, it's only fair. I mean, in what series haven't we seen a Druid versus Druid? 15 or 14 out of 15 players have brought it to this tournament, and the only player who didn't bring it, Firebat, was knocked out immediately 3-0, kind of getting punished for bringing Rogue instead of Druid.
Yeah, it's the story of the tournament, at least in our books, that Emperor Thorsten has really pushed everyone to, play Druid, so to speak. And maybe someone figures it out in the next week. Maybe they don't. Who knows?
Yep. Next match, we will have Face Hunter from RDU against Mech Mage from Dog. Two of the, I would say, the most hated decks right now in Hearthstone. Certainly two of the most aggressive decks in Hearthstone, if not the most aggressive.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. Short of, is his name Friend?
Frid.
Frid.
Yeah.
Frid from the Pinnacle, who was in the finals against Muzzy. He also plays an aggressive Paladin. Haven't been able to watch too much of those VODs. I'll probably have to go back and check it.
Yeah, that Paladin was pretty cool, though.
Very cool.
Although I wouldn't say that deck is very hated because it's uncommon on the ladder, and sometimes even if aggressive decks are uncommon, then they're still like kind of refreshing in a way.
All right, well, here we go. Mech Mage versus the Hunter. This is going to be difficult if the Hunter gets stopped by, like, Goblin Blast Mage. But there's still so much damage.
Yeah, I would say the key cards in this matchup, because they're both aggressive decks, are the quote-unquote AoE cards like Goblin Blast Mage, Explosive Trap, and Unleash the Hounds.
That's always how it's been, too, in any Hunter versus Hunter, or actually how Hunter interacted with anything that flooded the board.
Yeah.
Remember Zoo back in the day? You really need to get Explosive Trap and Unleash the Hounds as well.
Yeah, back in the day, actually, you need both. You needed two. Okay, so you ran 2 Unleash the Hounds and 2 Explosive Traps, and you needed 2 of those 4 cards. You need to draw into 2 of those because what happened was if you didn't have like Buzzard Unleash, if you just standard unleash the board, then Zoo can just flood the board back up again. So yeah, either 2 board clears or that combo.
RDU's hand also looks very dangerous in terms of damage, but he needs something besides Kill Command. I guess the silver lining is he can't draw Kill Command off the top. Otherwise, you'd be like, RDU, something pretty fishy here.
Well, this is also like an argument for not using Quick Shot into your decks, because if you draw like this, Quick Shot will essentially be a Dark Bomb.
Well, he still has the hero power. I mean, sometimes it's not wrong to just have Dark Bomb.
That's true. Okay, just
do we know what secret that is, by the way? That's Mirror Entity?
It's Mirror Entity, right? Yeah. Okay. Dog is not running any other secrets from what we can tell.
No Counterspell?
Counterspell is actually, it's, I think, typically much better in this matchup. That is if RDU didn't have the coin, for instance. Normally, the problem with Mirror Entity in the matchup is the Hunter's minions, they all have charge anyway. And you're essentially, if the Hunter plays like a Magma, if he plays a Wolf Rider, he's essentially giving your opponent a Magma Rager.
Giving your opponent a Magma Rager. Yeah, I guess. It's just funny when you put it that way, because Magma Rager is often seen as a useless card. Yep. Except to clear Patchwork.
That's true.
2 quick shots. I mean, might as well just start kill commanding and going super ham.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
He's got another 9 damage in his hand. If he can use another beast, that's 11. I mean, by all means, if RDU has 2-3 turns to do this, he might be able to. Will Dog be able to race him in time? He's got a lot of damage on the board as well.
Yeah. I think the priority here is getting this beast off the field.
Right.
I mean, it's not like Dog has much any choice. He basically has to play Mech Warper plus a ping.
Is he interested at making sure that Unleash the Hounds isn't too big either? It's 1 damage both ways.
Yeah,
it is 1 damage that you can't do the next turn, though. And it is also a 2 health minion, so the Dog doesn't trade evenly for it.
I feel like in this matchup, you really want to be on the aggressive, though. Unfortunately, he does draw RDU does draw a Knife Juggler, but not the second part of the combo, which is Unleash the Hounds.
Right. Do you just quick shot the face here?
I like it.
Next turn, you have quick shot, kill command, and a hero power. That's 8 damage.
Like, the problem is basically one of these quick shots is definitely going to be a Dark Bomb. There's no way
Right.
around it.
It's like having two Soul Fires the opposite way.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Interesting way to put it, actually.
Yeah, in the past, you know, having Soul Fire drawn with Soul Fire was like a really painful exchange, unless you were trying to draw. Oh, wait, whoa! Kill command on the Mech Warper. He doesn't want to erase this Mech Mage. 6 damage. Unfortunately, I don't think it's gonna matter. Artie's gonna be on his last turn either way because of Fireball and Frostbolt in hand.
Yeah, I don't think this is actually possible for RDU to win. If he actually, for example, quick shot of the face on the last turn, then Dog would be at
Unleash.
10 health. And
Yeah,
then-
but even then, Unleash the Hound's kill command would not have been it.
Yeah, so no matter what line of play that RDU took, I don't think he could have won this game.
The only exception is if the... Actually, you're right, because I was thinking Unleash the Hounds with Knife Juggler, and then you,
Yeah, even
Kill
like
off the
a
board,
perfect
but-
unleash, with all the knives going to face, it wouldn't be enough damage.
Wow, look at that. Mech Mage out-racing the Hunter.
It's pretty amazing. But again, like we have to say that the key cards
wait.
from the Hunter.
What if
weren't
he,
drawn.
Mad Scientist, quick shot the Mad Scientist, and quick shot the Spider Tank? I mean, that's his way to survive.
That's true.
That does stop it, though. Only for one turn, because your opponent just drops Antonitis.
I wonder.
What if you... Okay, from RDU's perspective, he might be thinking Knife Juggler into Mad Scientist so that it pings off the owl, but nope, he just goes straight for face.
No, this is his best chance to win. His best chance to survive is to do this play that we just said, the Mad Scientist thing, but it's not going to work. Fireball is more than enough, and that evens it up. Mage is done on both ends. It's Druid and Hunter versus Druid and Hunter.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of it's showing the weakness of Quickshot in that game.
Yeah.
And I feel like it might be a card that some players might have to reconsider, especially running 2 of them in your deck. Imagine if those quick shots were, for example, Wolf Riders, then the Mage would have to devote more mana and more resources into trading into the Wolf Riders, and he wouldn't be racing as fast.
Well, he wouldn't be stuck trying to play like really weak turns of just doing nothing, like Ironbeak Owl into coin kill command. Like those kinds of things are really bad because you're out of options, so you have to start doing damage.
Yeah.
And even then, it's still like that Hunter game was really awkward in turns 3 onwards, but it still got his opponent down to 5 health, which is like ridiculous, just how much damage it is because a quick shot being a Dark Bomb.
Yeah, just imagine if RDU had just drawn slightly better and not drawn all 4 of his direct damage spells in his opening hand. That's kind of what those spells are, what you want to finish off the game, but you really want your opening Haunted Creepers, Knife Jugglers, Unleash the Hounds, or even Explosive Traps.
True story. All right, well, Druid versus Hunter. This one is essentially 50-50, although I think you default to Druid because at worst it's Druid versus Druid. Best it's Druid versus Hunter.
Yeah, so
Seems
we're
okay. Unless it'd be really weird to see both of them pick Hunter here. Unless
Yeah.
they feel like Hunter's favored against Druid. Then it's like, well, then they go the opposite way. If they feel Hunter's is favored, then they both play Hunter.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all. It really all depends on how both players are building their Druid decks. I know RDU and Nihilum as a team, they really prefer the Sludge Belchers, which really help in that matchup.
Right, but they also run like Nourish, and Nourish isn't the best card against
Nourish and
Face Hunter.
Ragnaros, right?
Yeah, those aren't the best cards against it. So, actually, that makes sense if RDU goes for Hunter here again. So that way he can get Druid versus Druid.
Yeah, I
And
feel
then
like
Dog, if he knows that, should play his own Druid. So that way he can line his Hunter against his opponent's Druid.
in terms of comfort picks, RDU is probably slightly more comfortable with Hunter.
Mhm.
Especially, like you said, Hunter versus Hunter is his favorite matchup. And Dog, of course, he's known for Druid. He is the Druid guy. He'll
Yep.
default to his Druid.
It's a very much more simple way to break it down.
And we're completely wrong. It's actually the opposite that will happen.
That RDU picks Druid.
Yes.
Well, I think RDU is picking Druid to catch Dog's Druid. So maybe Dog thought to the next level and said, he's going to pick Druid and I'm going to pick Hunter.
Yes, that is a way to think about it.
It is
a
entirely
convoluted way.
plausible.
Yeah, it's
The bottom line is that it's 50-50. Like, you're actually just guessing what your
Yeah.
opponent will pick.
I feel like it's very entirely possible that our analysis is just completely off, and both players
They're
just
just
like
like,
flipped a
screw
coin.
it.
Yeah.
Roll a die.
Like honestly, in this scenario, it's very likely when both players
Sure.
are playing the same exact decks, and I'm willing to bet that their decks are like 4 cards off each other's. So the Druid might be slightly more off, but the Face Hunters is probably like only 2 cards off from each other, to be honest.
Yeah, Snake Trap being one of them, potentially. Quick Shot being another.
Yeah, the number of quick shots, the number of infiltrators.
Job's done.
It's a pretty compact, tight deck across the board. Lord Infiltrator comes down. That's going to be some pressure onto the Druid. The question is, can Druid pick up ways to keep up with Swipe, with Wraths, with Wild Growths, and stuff to play? And if they can't, then Hunter just piles on way too much damage, especially if RDU is drawing more of the Agitrakes and less of the Sludge Belchers.
Yeah, this is going to be a really insane turn for Dog here. Laying on the hurt before Swipe can be drawn, and now the best RDU can do is just Wrath for 1. Wrath for 1.
What would you even Wrath? I guess.
What are you playing around, I guess? Maybe if he's playing Toshly.
Oh, wow, and Innervate's pretty nice too. It allows him to Wrath another minion.
Nice. I guess you don't Wrath the Leopard Gnome. It's like there's a
Right.
potential that
You could
silence it. Very low potential.
Oh,
But actually, that was a good series of draws for
Yeah.
RDU.
now would you play Snake Trap with this Haunted Creeper so you can fill out the mana? Would you save the coin?
You could also consider just Heroing Powering here, just to get in that hero power. Yeah, there it is.
Fair enough. Just because
Because-
I know the Leopard Gnome is really tempting to
Yeah.
to strike down.
I think Dog is thinking of ways to fill out his curve on the next turn, and most likely, judging by his hand right now, he's gonna Snake Trap into hero power.
Ah, I see. Wow, there's definitely a couple ways you could play this turn as well. I like using the Keeper of the Grove to shut down the Haunted Creeper by silencing it.
Yeah. RDU, even though he didn't get a great start, this is turning out
He's picking up
okay, I
steam.
guess. And no matter what a Dog draws in terms of weapons, he'll have an answer to that as well. Wolf Rider. So that doesn't really play into Dog's initial plan of, because he used his coin last turn, he really wants
Right.
to use a 2-mana minion or spell in a combination with his hero power.
But he's still got Steady Shot, poking away. And we know that the snakes are highly relevant. Attack to the face reveals immediately that it's Snake Trap, and RDU will eventually start racing until he finds a way to swipe it down.
Yeah, the Snake Trap is going to be so dangerous because there's RDU use both Wraths, so the only way to really interact with these minions is the second Keeper or the 2 swipes, neither of which are in RDU's hand right now.
Very scary moment because RDU's down to 11 health, and the Unleash the Hounds makes it so that if you build anything up more, you're going to be in trouble.
Emperor throws in. Like,
Okay,
There's-
so is there any way you can calculate the possibility of killing your opponent in the next turn? If you make Savage War 2 mana,
it doesn't really make that big of a difference because you don't have Force of Nature in your hand as well.
what if you draw Druid the Claw, though? If you draw Druid the Claw, you can charge in Savage Roar, and if your opponent just races you and doesn't kill you, you have 21 health remaining, and then you have 9 damage on board. Oh, sorry, you have 11 damage on board with the Emperor, plus the 10, so that's 21. That would be exactly lethal.
That's certainly a
Very
possibility.
specific set of scenarios have to happen. One, you have to draw the Druid the Claw, or no, even before that, the prologue is that your opponent has to not kill you.
That's the biggest if, I feel.
Because he has 6 damage generated just through the hero power.
I know, he's not going for that line of play. So this basically removes 1 point of damage on the board.
Well, a little bit more, right?
No, it's just 1, right? So it was 4 power before, and now it's 3. Oh, I guess it's the hero power.
Yeah.
Yeah, he still takes that 1 damage anyway, but I guess with this set of plays, RDU is thinking because I have the Ancient of Lore to follow up, I can afford to play a little less safe.
It is. And it's definitely the conservative
Or
play.
a little more safe, rather. Yeah.
And he has Savage Roar, so the more he builds up his board, the higher likely he is to survive and win here. On Dog's end, he picks up Explosive Trap. And that's another 2 damage that you can factor into your calculations. Your opponent can be effectively at 7. Oh, he goes for Unleash the Hounds now. Puts his opponent to 4 health. Oh, yeah. And RDU is running out of time, but he's got a way to heal. Oh, he's got a swipe off the top.
Swipe off the top, that puts him to 5 HP. And so that means anything like a bow or another Wolf Rider or even a quick shot.
Kill command. A lot kill you. But if you go Ancient of Lore, it's actually not too much different, right? Because you only can kill 3 minions off the board. You go to 9 health and it's at 7, but now kill command is activated a little bit more. So there's still, and then of course there's Explosive Trap, which still disincentivizes you from attacking. It still gives you another turn though. Oh, but Explosive Trap also makes these minions not able to attack to the face.
That's true.
I don't know about this.
Ooh, Animal Companion.
That alone might be lethal.
Is it Huffer? Ooh, Misha. Probably not the best one. So definitely hero power. I would say probably Explosive Trap here just to get more potential damage in.
Well, I guess Huffer would have put him 1 off lethal. But still, like the Explosive Trap is really difficult to deal with now.
So now Swipe will get some value, but yeah, again, like these, the Azure Drake plus Pilot and Shredder is just useless.
Ragnaros is something, right? You know that he doesn't have Kill Command, because Kill Command would have killed him. Like, so...
You also kind of have to play around Snake Trap here, I feel. Or no,
if you do, then you swipe.
Yeah.
This Pilot Shredder might also get something huge.
Okay, so the Pilot Shredder is actually placed correctly, so there's potential for the Direwolf Alpha or
the
Flame Totem to come out.
I also like the idea that you have to continually hero power as much as you can just to gain health. Ragnaros is really tempting though.
Right, so now only Arcane Golem and Leroy.
Kill
and
Command
Kill Command
is going to be lethal. I mean, we knew that there were so many draws that could have done it, like Arcane Golem. I mean, come on, RDU. There's so many draws that could have ended it, right? Because if RDU... I guess his logic was that he also had Ancient of Lore draw, so he might have been able to stabilize, but there were so many draws that could have finished him.
Yeah, he had Dog had so many turns to draw into those things. It just happened to be unfortunate that RDU was 1 turn off from healing once again.
Yeah.
I
mean, maybe we could have calculated because it's been a while since we checked, but you know there was like 5 minions on board, so if you Savage Roar with that kind of board, is that like lethal too? Because he could have healed a minion. And then Savage Roared as well.
Yeah,
so if his opponent didn't draw damage, say he drew Knife Juggler, and then he had like 20 damage on board, is like crazy. So I don't know. A lot of possibilities, but in the end, that Kill Command was the lethal point. And Dog is up 2-1. 1 game away from going to the Grand Finals.
Yeah.
To face Trump or Show.
Yeah. Dog is in an excellent position again to go all the way. And he's, again, with his very comfort pick, the Druid, his best deck. And I have to say, like, Dog along with Shrivecrow and Tice, certainly they're very known for playing Druid and possibly the best Druid players in the world.
All right, Dog going to switch to Druid. Oh, sorry, RDU going to stay on Druid. He's not switching. I guess he is switching because he won with his, so he has to switch.
Yes.
RDU going with Druid one more time because this is a matchup where I think he's favored because he has a slightly slower list. It's got Nourish, so it can outlast his opponent. Maybe even the tempo gain if you like Wild Growth and then you get Nourish and you hit the Emperor and everything's just cheaper, or you draw cards and you have the Emperor. It's pretty nuts overall.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, so we're about to get in the game very soon. Dog? Well, RDU has the Wild Growth. Dog doesn't have the Wild Growth. And if things go according to plan, as with the rest of the Druid games, RDU will mulligan some cards away and get back an innervate.
Wait. Oh, okay, sorry. No, the cards moved out. Because it looked like that he innervated the
I know what you mean.
Sorry,
He
yeah, it looks
mulliganed
like
the
he
wild
mulliganed
growth.
the wild growth away for a second. It's like, you crazy dog. Okay, so
Job's done.
Dog still on turn 2 has nothing to do. He's just gonna hero power.
Wait for it. Ah, that's a hero power.
That's too bad. And he's gonna be met with more bad news. His opponent curves into the Shade of Naxxramas into a wild growth.
Into another Shade of Naxxramas.
That's right. Well, he doesn't have to play. Ah, that's really bad. Dog's so far behind. 2 Shades and 1 Druid.
Two Shades. Just growing up. We're gonna watch these guys grow up from a very early age.
That's right. They get them while they're young. You know, the Shade of Naxxramas, I saw Savitz one time like have 2 Shades that grew to like an 8/8 and a 9/9, and then he just like Force of Nature Savage Roar.
Yeah. Was that in?
Oh, he should
VTBN?
leave that up and disrupt his opponent's curve even more.
That's true.
Like, if his opponent thought he could play something on turn 5 for normal 5 mana, then just leave it. It's no pressure to clear it. Is there? No.
Aw, that's actually gonna be bad.
Because then his opponent can play the Sludge Belcher and contest it.
Yeah. Not only that, he can play swipe as well to swipe down this Shade that will be revealed.
What if you just do only 1 Shade? It's a little bit weird though, right? To just like reveal 1 Shade and not the other.
Yeah.
It would be a deliberate play around.
Okay, there we go. Both Shades are revealed.
Okay.
They're sentenced to the world. They've gone to college.
He's got the innervate to clear it. Is that the best way to use it though?
If you do go for that play, you're actually not in a bad position because your opponent doesn't have anything. In addition, it's like you're using up you're using up just like 2 cards to deal with the 2 Shades plus
Plus his innervate.
Yeah,
or,
plus-
no, not
plus
his
his wild
innervate.
growths.
Yeah, his wild growths. You know, it really does depend on what his opponent has on 7 mana though. If it's 7 mana, then his opponent has Ancient of Lore or
Yeah.
Dr. Boom.
I guess Dog also has to be considering the possible 7 plays.
Right.
Like, does he have a way to deal with Dr. Boom or Ancient of Lore, and can he afford to play
Oh
around
my.
Dr. Boom and Ancient of Lore?
That's cool too. Force of Nature, so that way he doesn't take any damage.
Yeah,
and,
I like it.
It's a more expensive card.
I feel like Force of Nature, like, they're really right now fighting for board control, and board control is more important than the combo in this matchup. So I feel like Force of Nature is the the less valuable minion, or the less valuable spell in the matchup.
Yep. And while Sylvanas is something to play, the Emperor challenges it anyways, so there's not that big of a loss.
So we could see this
Ragnaros come down.
game swing pretty much if
That's
Ragnaros hits the
A
Emperor
lot of
doors in.
damage if it hits the face. It puts him down to 16. Nope,
Aw.
it hits the Emperor.
Fortunately for Dog, he still has some answers, but
He's got 2 swipes, which is funny. He can save the big game for Dr. Boom.
I think he's just gonna swipe in hero power.
Yeah.
Though. This is fine.
It makes sense too.
Yeah, fortunately for RDU, his decision to play Nourish in this deck will actually help him out a lot because he's running out of cards now.
Absolutely. That's definitely an excellent way to deal with the board, though. Taking initiative on it. Nourish can also hit into a Keeper of the Grove and completely dunk on this big game hunter.
Swipe would be okay too.
Swipe is also reasonable, sure.
And now it looks like RDU won't be running the cards anytime soon.
Yeah, Ancient Allure to pick up more cards. However, the initiative has gone over to his opponent.
So Dog is basically going to need to keep the initiative for the rest of the game because RDU is going to have a really cheap Force of Nature Savage Roar combo in the following turns.
Yeah. It's got so much power on the board, too.
This also would be really risky to an Azure Drake into Swipe, but He's already Dog already seen an Azure or already seen a swipe, so it's less vulnerable, I guess.
So he's gonna play the Emperor to gain some mana, make the combo even cheaper.
Yeah, with the combo at 7 mana, then anytime that RDU draws a second Savage War, that's almost certainly going to be game.
You know, this is assuming that you know, Dog doesn't deliberately clear that and play a Sludge Belcher too.
Ooh, Savage War.
Those shades are gonna get huge.
The problem with Dog using the Force of Nature earlier in the game is that I know Dog is a player that typically only favors one Force of Nature in his deck, so now he's given up like pretty much his entire combo. He has no opportunity to combo now. So he might just use the Savage Roar here in order to help him clear the board.
Yeah, he also can swipe the Keeper, trade the Pilot in, play Sludge Belcher. Attack with both shades.
Yeah, that being said, like he valued the swipe over the Force of Nature earlier, so he might be valuing the swipe over the other combo piece more in this circumstance as well.
Fair enough. Savage Roar gives him 18 damage right now. And swipe to the face is 23. Hero power is 24. So he's a few points off. I think I don't mind the swiping Keeper play and then playing Sludge Belcher. More importantly, how does Druid deal with like a pair of 3/3s now that he's both Wraths, right? Oh, attack face! I like it. I like it. Who cares if you have another round of cheaper cards if I can kill you next turn?
That's true.
That damage to the face actually is going to be super relevant, because if this body of the Sludge Belcher just goes down, then he still has 12 plus 8 of 20, 21 damage, and then he can still draw into Druid of the Claw.
Okay, Wrath is a pretty good draw here, though.
Yeah. To take out that Pilot Shredder is huge. Although, it's still a body to survive, right? It's another one attack minion. Unless he Savage Roars to take it out. And he absolutely will not want to because of he has Force of Nature. So does he play Big Game Hunter instead?
Yeah. Does he play around just Druid of the Claw Savage Roar? Is Druid of the Claw Savage Roar lethal at this point? So it's
9 plus 4.
15. It's
plus
25 damage, I think.
You're right.
Yeah. So that would be lethal, and so he would have to hero power here in order to survive Druid of the Claw Savage Roar, or Savage Roar himself.
That's not it. Dog is several points away from lethal here.
Well, I think he's just dead because RDU has the Force of Nature Savage Roar combo on turn 10.
Oh my gosh!
Well, guess that's what happens when you leap the Emperor up for too long. How much damage is that?
Funny.
I've actually never seen that before.
I guess you could only see that before with Millhouse Mana Storm. You play
so it's 12 from the
12,
trees,
and then you get
a
14, so 24 damage.
12 from the trees, and then
No,
yeah.
26. You get 26 damage. That's just too funny, man. I really hope RDU has to use that.
Yeah.
If he just uses, right now if he just uses one combo, I think that'd be a travesty.
I agree. Oh, and
All
the Innervate. Yeah, come on.
Use both.
Show
Use
us
both.
RDU.
I mean, he only has space for one, but yes.
Yeah, he's gonna do it.
I like it, RDU.
He's now in the record books as the first person ever to use this in a competitive tournament.
Dog.
I would actually just trade off one of my big game hunter now, or before Sylvanas, in order to just
so
show
kill
him my
Sylvanas.
possibility.
Doesn't matter what you still kill him.
Well, you can just run the big game hunter before you Savage Roar, right?
Gotcha. Fun stuff, man. Well, that was quite ridiculous in its own right. And now Druid for RDU is eliminated. We're going to have Druid versus Hunter close things out. And I got to give RDU the edge, man. Hunter versus Druid seems to give Druid fits today. Generally speaking, the Druids have been getting the better end of the deals, but I think in recent times, I'm definitely feeling like Hunter just gives Druid such a problem sometimes if they don't have the exact innervate plays.
Yeah, I think Druids have been cutting some of their taunts recently in mid-range Hunter or mid-range Druid. So basically, you pretty much only have your either 2 Sludge Belchers or 2 Druids of the Claw, or a combination of 3 of those cards. No one's running more than like 4 taunts. So all the Hunter needs is to draw their 1 or 2 Ironbeak Owls, silence those taunts, and just keep going straight for face. And now the Druid advantage of having a lot of taunts in their deck is kind of negated.
Absolutely. So the Hunter versus Druid coming up, we saw the opposite end of it. Although Dog has a less greedier Druid, I think. He doesn't have.
He doesn't have Nourish.
Yeah, he doesn't have Nourish. He doesn't have the Ragnaros, I think. And he's gonna start off on the coin, giving RDU the initiative in turn 1. Doesn't have a turn 1 play though.
Now, how greedy does Dog want to go? Okay, so he mulligans everything except the Shade.
Gets Swipe. It's going to be useful if he needs
Swipe.
it.
Wrath is going to be useful as well.
Wrath is useful. I was going to ask that if he gets Wild Growth, would he consider coin Wild Growthing?
I think you actually just coin Hero Power here. Yeah, Hero Power.
Right.
You want to save your Wrath for possible Knife Jugglers or even Wolf Riders on turn 2 or 3.
And RDU only has this Haunted Creeper to play. Oh,
Well.
Mad Scientist. That's excellent. Almost as good as it gets.
Yeah, Knife Juggler would have been the best for Dog, but I guess he'll take that. Something in a Wrath is at least alright. Haunted Creeper might actually have been worse for Dog because he would have been forced to Hero Power essentially. Oh, Snake Trap. RDU also runs a Snake Trap, so this Wolf Rider is going to do so much work.
6 damage at least.
Yeah, so Dog will be forced to swipe it, unfortunately. That being said, if
RDU goes for the mana efficient play of Haunted Creeper and Hero Powering,
yes,
then there's potential for Swipe to go for some big clears.
he's not going to fall into that trap though.
No, he wants him to get an extra charge while he can. Makes it look like it's Explosive Trap too. So much damage. Goodness gracious.
Oh, well, that's at least a good draw.
Yeah.
And now Dog can even fit in a Hero Power so that he can test for the Explosive Trap. Oh, or Wild Growth.
Wild Growth.
I think that is very relevant, actually.
But he gets bluffed out by the Explosive Trap likelihood. And Wolf Rider. I mean, that's just more damage. Can Dog hold on? Starting to get really tight.
So now the Shade has grown big enough so that it can attack
Keeper is
into
also really good too.
Wolf Rider. Yeah, Keeper's excellent.
So you want to attack into the face, right? Oh, the Snake Trap has been revealed.
I think you swipe here, right? Okay. Slightly punished by Owl, but at least you get an even bigger swipe. And you're even closer to lethal.
Right.
Dog's issue is that he's facing actually the same issue as the issue with RDU in the previous game, where he can either Ancient of Lore to heal or swipe on this turn, but he can't fit both in.
Not without the Emperor.
Well, he could draw Emperor and play it this turn, and then he can see what happens.
Yeah, I think you got to swipe here. You're going to be at 7 health, but it's your best chance to stay alive. There's just too much damage on board.
Yeah, swipe just takes more damage off the board than you can heal from Ancient of Lore. Plus, you can fit in Hero Power in any way. So he goes up to 7.
And RDU is one point.
Yeah, one
But he
mana.
only has 1 mana left, right?
Yeah, 1
Oh,
mana.
no, he's
off
got 2
lethal.
mana. He's got 2 mana. Actually, there's a lot of things that can kill him now.
Oh,
Goose
Goose the Sergeant. Yeah, that's it. Oh, look at RDU's face.
Yeah.
Making those duck lips. You can't believe it. He's in he's in the finals.
Again.
Yeah.
Friday, RDU also got to the finals. Up in the Black Rock Mountain Amazon tournament. Where, I mean, he didn't win the tournament, but he got 2nd place, which was pretty decent, given that we got to see Zalay take that tournament. Well done. RDU goes into game number 5 and wins. You know, I want to take a second to think about that. So Dog had the swipe clear, but he also had the Ancient of Lore that he never got to play. He said he went for Druid of the Claw Taunt. So just talk about like what was the mentality behind that Druid of the Claw versus like trying to protect yourself just because he was worried about dying anyways, even if he cleared the board.
Yeah, I guess the more proactive creature was the Druid of the Claw, and if you just swiped, you don't put any more pressure on the board, so you give the hunter more chances to draw into more damage or a silence for that eventual Druid of the Claw that you'll play anyway. So I guess he just had to play really risky, or just slightly risky, make sure his opponent didn't have an owl in his hand. But to be honest, usually when I play against Hunter and I put up a taunt, like I feel like 90% of the time they do have that owl in their hand.
It's just that the Hunter is so strong, and everyone keeps telling me, man, Druid's good against Hunter, and I keep seeing the Hunter smash it. RDU is in the grand finals. He awaits the winner of Show versus Trump, which is coming up on stream. And what a tournament it's been so far, as RDU, the only player to come in from his side of the bracket that doesn't have a notable stream, is going to be here in the finals.
Yeah, true. Well, you say that, but RDU actually does have some good stream numbers sometimes, getting like 2,000 viewers.
He's just not known as a streamer compared
Exactly.
to, you know, Reynad, Masan, and StrifeGrow.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That might change soon. You know, he's just getting off school. He's pursuing a career in Hearthstone.
Perhaps.
And who knows? He might be the next Reynad, replacing Reynad even. Starting up rdustorm.com.
Those monk jokes. All right. Well, I don't know about that, but I do know that we're going to go to a quick commercial break. You know, maybe he'll do that. Who knows? Maybe RDU will start his own team, but I think he's pretty happy on Nihilum so far. Yeah, let's go to commercial break. Let's thank Xfinity for putting on this event. You can check out all their cool stuff at xfinityhearthstone.com. And when we return, we're going to have the second semifinal between Show and